Guys, so there are a few different ways in which you can get Jamaican citizenship.
Yeah, never forget where you're coming from. King Shango set the trend. Yo, I want them. Mama.
Hi guys, what's good? Welcome back to the channel, datmisehtv. It's your girl Deezer. So today I wanted to do a video on Jamaican citizenship. So I've had quite a few people in the comments asking if I could do a video on how to get Jamaican citizenship and how I got my Jamaican citizenship. So today I'm going to go through a little bit about that and share some of my experiences, okay? Guys, so there are a few different ways in which you can get Jamaican citizenship. So one of them is by descent. The second one is by marriage or through marriage. And the third way is through naturalization. Today I'm just going to really be focusing on getting Jamaican citizenship through descent, because that's the way that I got my Jamaican citizenship, okay? So if you've watched my video, why I moved to Jamaica, I briefly explained that my parents are Jamaican and that I got my Jamaican citizenship through my father, okay, because he was born here. So I am a dual citizen, British and Jamaican. I have a British passport and I have a Jamaican passport. So Jamaican citizenship by descent. Now there are different ways in which a person can qualify for Jamaican citizenship through descent, okay? So I'm going to go through a few of those with you now. Guys, excuse me if you see me veering off. I've got my notes, so I'll just be referring to those. So if an applicant was born outside of Jamaica before the 5th of August 1962 and was on the 5th of August a citizen of the United Kingdom, then you qualify to apply for Jamaican citizenship. So I'll say that again. A person that was born outside of Jamaica before the 5th of August 1962 and was on the 5th of August 1962 a citizen of the United Kingdom qualifies to apply for Jamaican citizenship. Now, of course, we know that this date is significant, the 5th of August 1962. This is the day before Jamaica gained its independence, okay? So the Jamaican Independence Day is the 6th of August 1962. So anybody that was born before the 6th of August 1962 and was a citizen of the United Kingdom can qualify to apply for Jamaican citizenship, okay? So that doesn't apply to me because I'm not that old yet. No offense to anybody that was born before 1962. I'm just saying. So right, the second category is the category that I fall into, okay? So this is for a person that was born outside of Jamaica after the 5th of August 1962 whose mother or father at the date of his or her birth is or was a citizen of Jamaica by birth, descent, or registration by virtue of marriage to a Jamaican. So that's a bit wordy, so I'll just say that again. So if you were born after the 5th of August 1962 to Jamaican parents, okay, or a parent who is a citizen or who was a citizen of Jamaica by whatever means, okay, not just by birth, but if your parents were citizens or are citizens of Jamaica and you were born outside of Jamaica, then you qualify to apply for citizenship. So that's the category or the umbrella that I fall under. Okay, so what's the procedure for applying for Jamaican citizenship? Now guys, this is a big deal, right? You're applying for citizenship, so you know, you should already know that you are going to have to supply a number of documents, okay? One thing I would say before I even go into the procedure of applying for the citizenship and the documentation that you need, one tip that I would say, please make sure that your documentation is in order. So make sure that whether you are applying through your parents or your grandparents, because that's another way that you can apply, and we will talk about that in a minute, whether you're applying for citizenship through descent because your parents are Jamaican citizens or were Jamaican citizens, or through your grandparents, okay? Please make sure that everybody's paperwork lines up and matches, okay? Now, we know that in Jamaica, many parents of our parents, our grandparents, people we know that the name on their birth certificate does not always match the name on their passport, does not always match the name on their national ID or driver's license. Even the same with date of births, okay? So I think we all know somebody or a story of somebody whose name is one thing on one document and one thing on another document. It just seems that, I don't know, that's just the way out here. I'm not sure why. So if you want to apply for Jamaican citizenship, you have to make sure that everything is in order. All the names, all the date of births are exactly the same on every piece of document that you have, okay? So please make sure that if it's, even for yourself, make sure that your name, date of birth on your birth certificate are the same as what is on your passport, is on the same as any other piece of documentation that you have. Make sure it's the same with your parents, whoever you, or grandparents, whoever you're applying for citizenship through. Make sure that their name is consistent on all of their documentation. Make sure that their date of birth is consistent on all of the documentation. Guys, if you don't do this, you're going to face problems, you're going to have delays, okay? So that's really something to bear in mind. Okay, the procedure, okay? So these are the things you're going to need to do and present. So the first thing you need to do, of course, is to fill out a form applying for Jamaican citizenship, okay? That's the first thing you need to do. And I think you can download these on the Jamaican Embassy website in the UK. So a lot of what I say today will be based or will really apply to people in the UK who are thinking about or who want to apply for Jamaican citizenship. I'm not quite sure how it works in other countries, but of course, I did mine in the UK, okay? So a lot of what I talk about will be relating to how it's done in the UK. So, of course, you need to fill out the form. You need to fill out a form. Other things you need your birth certificate, okay? And remember, guys, we need original copies of everything. We don't need photocopies. We need originals, okay? So, your birth certificate. You will need valid government-issued photo ID. So I would say your British passport is probably the best thing that you could use. So you need your birth certificate, you need a passport or government issued photo ID. If applicable, you need your marriage certificate. If you're married, you need your marriage certificate to show change of name. So that marriage certificate is going to show your maiden name and of course your married name, okay? So if applicable, you need a marriage certificate. Where applicable, again, a deed poll, okay? So this is something that I had to bring in, a deed poll. So a deed poll is a document that legalizes a name change, okay? So this is something I had to do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that with you further down, okay? So you need a deed poll if applicable. You need your parents' birth certificate if you are applying for citizenship through your parents. So you need parents' birth certificate showing their first, middle name and surname, okay? If there is no surname on the birth certificate, then a valid or expired Jamaican passport will do. So you need your parents' birth certificate. Right, this is where it gets a little bit different. If you are applying for citizenship through your father, then citizenship, if an application for Jamaican citizenship is being made through your father, then his name must be on your birth certificate, okay? If you are making a claim or an application through your father, his name must be on your birth certificate, okay? If you are making an application through your mother and she is married, then her marriage certificate is required if she is using that married name. If she's not using that married name, then fine. But if she's using a married name, you need a marriage certificate, okay? So you also need 2 unsigned passport photos. 2 unsigned passport photos. If you are also making an application for a Jamaican passport at the same time, which is what I did, you will need an additional 2 passport photos, okay? And one of them needs to be signed. One of those photos needs to be signed. So that's really the basic information. So a quick rundown: you need your birth certificate, you need government issued ID like a passport, you need a marriage certificate if applicable, deed poll if applicable, your parents' birth certificate, if the application is being made through your father's name needs to be on your birth certificate. If it's being made through your mother and your mother is married, then you will need her marriage certificate also. And you need 2 unsigned passport photos and an additional passport size photos and an additional 2 passport size photos if you're also making an application for a passport at the same time. Okay guys, so that's if you are applying for citizenship through your parents. Slightly different if you're applying through your grandparents. So you still need a lot of the same documents that I've just listed, but there, of course there are going to be some additional documents that you need. So if you're applying through your grandparents, of course you need your birth certificate, you need government photo ID, so your passport, your marriage certificate where applicable, deed poll. You still need your parents' birth certificate, their valid passport, their marriage certificate, and deed poll if necessary. If application is being made through a grandmother, you need her birth certificate showing her first name and her surname, okay? Her name must be recorded in the same order on the parent's birth certificate, okay? So very important. If your application is being made through your grandfather, you need his birth certificate showing his first name and surname, and his name must be recorded in the same order on the parent's birth certificate. So your grandparents' name on their birth certificate needs to show exactly the same way that it does on your parents' birth certificate. So I think it's a little bit more complicated going through grandparents, because not only do you need your parents' information, their information needs to be right, you also need your grandparents' information, their information needs to be right. The information on the grandparents' documents needs to match the information on the parents' documents. Yeah, it's a lot. So just be wary, okay? And it does clearly state in the guidelines that all the names and need to match, okay? Okay, so that's all the documents that you need. The cost of the citizenship is £70, okay? £70, which is not bad, right? £70 is not bad for citizenship. Of course, if you are applying for the passport at the same time as a citizenship, you also have to pay for the cost of the passport. Cost of the passport, I believe, is £125, okay? It doesn't include your courier fee. And the £70 for the citizenship does include postage. The £70 for the citizenship includes £10 postage, okay? So for under £200, guys, you can get your Jamaican citizenship and a Jamaican passport. I think it's well worth it. Okay, times. How long does it take to receive your citizenship? So the guidelines state that you will be granted Jamaican citizenship, or you get your Jamaican citizenship certificate within 6 to 12 months of applying, okay? Between 6 to 12 months. Your passport will take between 8 to 12 weeks to arrive from date of application, between 8 to 12 weeks. Now, these things, it is quite a long time, especially the citizenship and even the passport too. The reason why it takes such a long time is because your application, even though you've made your application in the UK, it has to be sent to Jamaica, okay? It gets sent to Jamaica, to their passport, immigration, citizenship agency, PICA. It gets sent to Jamaica. They have to do their checks there. They have to verify everything there. Everything has to be in order. Once they verified everything in Jamaica, in their offices in Kingston, it then gets sent back to the UK. So as you can appreciate, you know, it is quite a lengthy process, okay? So let me talk to you about my experience of doing, applying for my Jamaican citizenship and passport. So I started my process, like I said, in 2016. And I guess it's slightly different then, because back then there was no COVID, you know, face-to-face was a thing, unlike now. So I went to the office, I already printed my form online, filled out my form, and I walked with all my documents, okay? Now, earlier in the video, you would have heard me say that I had well, it was not an issue, but I had to present a deed poll. So I applied through my father. My father had changed his name, his middle name, should I say, by deed poll. And the reason for this was because, like I explained earlier, so many Jamaicans have different names, right, on different documents. it was a case with my father too. And so I'm really fortunate that my dad took the initiative actually to just get it changed a few years before I even applied for my Jamaican citizenship. So I had to present my father's deed poll as part of my documents when I went to apply, and I experienced no problems. One thing I will say is I believe that when you supply any documentation of deed poll, it has to be done by the Royal Courts of Justice or another agency. I think it's called the UK Deed Poll Agency. Don't quote me on that, but there are only 2 recognized places in the UK where you can get your name changed by deed poll, and the Jamaican Citizenship Office, Passport Office will recognize it, okay? So look into that as well. If you need to change your name, don't just go to any and anywhere. Make sure that it's on one of the 2 recognized places, okay? So I submitted my documents at the offices, at the Jamaican Embassy in the UK, in London. And it was a long wait, I remember that much. It was quite a long wait, but I submit all my documents, and about 8 weeks later I received my passport. So my passport was the first thing to come. During that time, during the application process, I actually was on a trip to Jamaica, and before I came on my trip to Jamaica, I received a letter from the embassy stating that they wanted some additional information. It was on my dad's deed poll. It wasn't dated, okay? So some of the documents were dated, but there was one page that wasn't dated. So they're very, very fussy. Everything has to be in line. So we got it dated and certified, and I had to bring that back to the Jamaican Embassy office. But because I knew that I already had a trip planned to Jamaica, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to send it through to the office in London, because all they're going to do is send it off to Jamaica. I'm going to Jamaica myself. I'm just going to bring it in to the office myself. So that's what I did. I brought the deed poll, the certified deed poll with the amended date. I brought it to the office in Kingston, handed in my information. And I think that kind of helped to speed up my application process as well. So I think it's a quicker process if you are in Jamaica and you're doing it, rather than you doing it from London. But of course, if you have to do it from London, you have to do it from London. I also believe you can do it in Birmingham too. So Birmingham and London are the 2 places that have Jamaican Embassy that you can apply for citizenship and passport. So I did that, and a few months later my citizenship certificate came through the post. Guys, it was like one of the best days of my life. And I also got invited to a citizenship ceremony. Like, yes, the citizenship ceremony was a great occasion. I got dressed up, I took my mum and dad, and we met the ambassador, which was a really nice guy. And we could get to take photos. They prepared traditional Jamaican food for everybody that was that was at the ceremony. It was like a graduation ceremony actually, because they called each person's name one by one. We got to go up, shake the we got to meet all the important people, shake their hands, take photos. So it was great. It was a great evening. I'm not sure if they're doing that now with all this COVID and pandemic stuff, but yeah. So that was my experience. I had a really positive experience. But again, I think making sure that all your paperwork is in order, the names are correct, the date of births are correct on every single document, whether it be your document, your parents' document, your grandparents' document. That's going to allow for a smoother process, okay? But guys, if you are of Jamaican descent, I would encourage you to apply for your Jamaican citizenship, apply for your Jamaican passport. Guys, even if you don't come to Jamaica, even if you're not even interested in living in Jamaica or moving to Jamaica, or you don't come to Jamaica regularly, why not? You're entitled to it. Jamaica is still part of the Commonwealth. But guys, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and if you can do it now, go for it. Plus, it's like I said, it's only under £200, so yeah, go for it, guys. If you have any questions about this video, or you want some more information on obtaining Jamaican citizenship or passport, then of course, as always, do feel free to contact me. Leave a comment down below. Of course, send me a message or a DM at my Instagram at datmisehtv, on Facebook at datmisehtv. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, datmise.
This one has got to be now. Hey, Mr. Cruz. If it's money, we don't talk about it, cause we don't brag about it. House on the hill, that's how we go about it.